Welcome to Faith, Fashion, and Fur with Leslie Souza. I'm going to try to take off right where we left off last week. Yesterday. Okay. I'm losing my mind. Okay, so one thing that might surprise you about my cancer diagnosis, when I first found out that I had cancer, I was embarrassed by it, and I didn't want to tell anybody. There were those I did need, I had to tell right away, like my work and all of that, because those things were going to be affected. And then I did confide in my family, but it just didn't go much further than that right away for me. So I would tell you, if you're facing cancer or another diagnosis or anything that has left you feeling embarrassed about the person that you are, that you don't have anything to be embarrassed about, and that it's not your fault. I asked myself, what did I do? What did I do to get cancer? Was it something I ate? Was it, at the time the doctor said they never saw anyone like me with cancer, or it was just so rare because I was active and working, and it didn't run in my family, and I just was always one to take I was gonna say, what is that word, diligence, or again, I can't promise you it's gonna come back. Due diligence in myself, as far as just trying to eat right. And yeah, of course I had a Rocky Road ice cream once in a while, but I just really tried to take care of myself. So anyway, I felt embarrassed and I blamed myself to some degree. And I want to tell you that it's not necessary. You don't need to do that. No one blames you, and like I said, you have nothing to be embarrassed about. That was an important thing for me to hear, and I want you to know that also. I would tell you to find support through the people that love you and that will pray for you. Like I told you before, some of my friends kind of started stepping away for good reason. They had other things going on in their lives. They moved or whatever it may be. And at that time, the women's ministry group moved in, and they asked me to be a part of that group, and I had accepted. But I hadn't been a part of that group for a long time. But I knew that they would be there for me, that they would pray for me, and that they truly did care about me. We had that same foundation of our beliefs, and I knew the quality of who they were as Christians, and being in the women's ministry group with me. So that was a huge blessing. And I would tell you to accept meals and flowers. People want to help. Don't steal their blessing. They want to, some people love to cook, and they want to feel like they've done something. And you are in a time of need. So hopefully, if you accept the meals, you'll get some like delicious tacos and lasagna like I did. It was so good. Hold on to your cards and reread them after you finish your treatment. I put every card I received in a box, and I went back afterwards and I read 5 a day. And I think I read them better than I read them before. I looked up the verses, I read the notes that the people wrote me, and it really helped me to remember, but also remember who was there for me. And it just filled my spirit and my mind with God's word. And so hold on to those cards, reread them after you finish your treatment. I would encourage you to see a comparison in what God does with our broken areas and the Japanese art of kintsugi, something that I teach. Kintsugi is also referred to as the golden repair. It is the art of repairing broken pottery by taking the pieces and putting them back together with powdered gold. Like us, the pottery is made stronger by the process. And that's like the process God puts us through when he refines us in the fire as we go through a trial. Each piece is made perfectly and beautifully unique, and our imperfections are embraced. He makes our flaws usable. When I look in the mirror now, I can't help but see my scars, but in them I see the masterpiece God is working in me. I have learned to embrace my cracks. You will not be the same after cancer, but you will live better. Live every day because it's all any of us have. So get up every time you can and be thankful, because this too shall pass. Trying to see if I'm missing anything here. So I did mention that my son, I'm going to tell you the story again here real quick. Let me look at we're doing great on time. This quick story about me loving hats. I do want to mention there are some wonderful hats on headcovers.com for cancer patients. They are beautiful. They're soft. They're made out of bamboo. And so when I had my breast cancer, I went on a lot of walks, and it was the heat of summer, and I could wear those bamboo hats, and they had beautiful pinks and reds. And anyway, so if you're looking for something like that, or a wig, because I know what cancer can do to your hair. So I just encourage you to maybe take a look on there and see what they have available for you. But my love of hats was long before my cancer ever came, and just another excuse to wear them. But when my son was in the Air Force and I went to London to visit him, it was Mother's Day, a day before Mother's Day, and he took me to get a hat in London. So how special is that? So we went to go get a hat, and we picked one out. I think it was knit. I was saying yesterday that it was like blue, because I love blue. I think that's my favorite color again, but it was my favorite color in my childhood. But we picked out this hat. It was so cute, but I couldn't help but keep noticing this pink hat, and it was up high on the shelf in the store. And right before we bought the other hat and everything, I asked my son, I said, can we just try that hat up there? And I knew he wasn't going to like the hat when he saw it. And he looked up there, and he's like, that one, the pink one. And I said yes. And he was like, sure, Mom, of course you can try it on. So I tried on the hat. Here's the hat. I have it today. So cute. So when I put this hat on, the sweetest thing happened between me and him, because he looked at me. But he looked at me. I mean, he looked at me for an uncomfortable length of time. And then he said, Mom, that's the hat. That is the hat. And he bought me this hat, and I still love it. And it's raining again today, so I'm gonna wear it. So now, not getting close to our time, but I do panic that I'm not going to get through everything I want to say. And I've decided not to go back to these but God verses. You can look these up easily. Google them. I did give you probably half. So they are in my Sit Still book, but again, not pressuring anyone to purchase anything. But I wanted to combine our fur with our faith today. And this is a story from quite a while ago. When would it be? Well, anyway, a while ago. So this is about a dog that I had, and it's also a beautiful story of God's faithfulness. So I'm going to read what I can to you now. The Bible verse is Romans 8:22. We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. One hot day in July, I came home from church and I tossed my open Bible, which was the Bible my mom had given me after she passed away, gently on the couch next to my dog of almost 12 years. His name was Oliver. The sofa in the front room had become one of his favorite spots to lie, and I could find him there most days now when I came home from work or play. That day, when I laid the Bible down next to him, he yawned, took a big stretch, and he laid his head down on the open Bible. And he looked directly up at me. I had a few Bibles over the years, but this one was extraordinary. It was the treasure left to me by my mother. As Oliver took that big stretch, I laid his head down on, I didn't lay his head down, and laid his head down on my mom's Bible. I grabbed my iPhone. I didn't want to miss the moment, and I took a quick picture. I reviewed the picture, decided it was nothing remarkable, and went about my day. Thanksgiving was a warm and sunny day that year, so I brought Oliver outside to sit on the front porch. My husband and my very handy stepson were putting up the Christmas lights before we headed over to my niece's house for Thanksgiving dinner. I enjoyed watching Oliver spread out on his orthopedic mattress and soak up the sun. It was a perfect day. When we returned home, we noticed Oliver's breathing had become labored. By the following day, we knew something was very wrong. We rushed him to the veterinarian, the same one who had seen him since he was 8 weeks old. Her words were very painful, yet straightforward. It's time. We called my oldest son first, who came right over, and then we placed a call to England, where my youngest son was stationed in the U.S. Air Force. While I filled him in on Oliver, I was grateful for the times he had been home over the last 4 years and the many swims that Oliver got to enjoy during those visits. My son insisted on staying on the phone until we had all said our goodbyes. With almost 12 years of membership, Oliver was one of the family. He had a very special place in the boys' hearts, and he was the dog they had saved their garage sale money to buy. He was the only dog they had had for their entire lives. After saying goodbye, hanging up our phones, and knowing my oldest son was safely home, I sat on my mom's old wicker love seat that had found a new home on my front porch. I was numb. As I did often, I began writing a poem from my front porch. I'll finish with this and then the rest of the story tomorrow. It's a great story, so please come back. The garage sale dog. All little boys should have a dog. My husband wanted no part in this dialogue. Why wasn't I happy to just have a cat? End of discussion. That would be that. He finally agreed, but she had to be small, a miniature or nothing at all. I told my boys to gather their stuff. What we could sell must be enough to send for this dog, a boy's best friend. Their excitement reached to absolutely no end. Our garage sale was a huge endeavor. I was so proud as my boys worked harder than ever. They were delighted as they counted their money, just enough for their garage sale dog, not an extra penny. That's a true story. We needed $850 for that. They're like $1,500 now. It's a golden doodle. When we picked the dog up from the airport that day, my husband was speechless. What could he say? This little dog wasn't a she. Although he was adorable, it was kind of funny to me. When the dog stumbled and fell into our spa the first day, we noticed his huge feet had gotten in his way. The dog grew and grew to over 60 pounds. He wasn't small, but the sweetest garage sale dog we could ever have found. We all fell in love with him in every way. Even my husband eventually thought he was okay. He pulled the boys on their skateboards, loved playing in the pool, happily greeted them every day after school. Years went by quickly. My little boys grew to men. The garage sale dog remained their best friend. When they moved out, with a tear in their eyes, a man's best friend now, they said goodbye. He taught us that friends come in many sizes. Rest tomorrow.